I am here at beautiful 1796 Ranches in Utopia, Texas with our land developer, Conrad Hartwig.
Very nice grass, native grasses throughout. And really all these properties are like a clean slate, like a blank canvas. It's done, we do that intentionally to allow the property owner to do what they want to do for their property.
Multi-generational living. Have you had any requests for that kind of setup, 3 generations or more living together?
We're hearing more and more of that every day.
Okay.
We hear the terms, we want a family getaway. We want a family multi-generational getaway. We want a compound. We just want land for our family. However you want to phrase it or term it,
right.
We're hearing more and more of it. But the common denominator is this, is those that are requesting it want their family, their friends, maybe their father and mother, maybe their father and mother-in-law, maybe their kids and their grandkids to have a place to enjoy. Whether it's a getaway, whether it's a permanent dwelling, whatever the scenario, more and more folks are thinking about that and looking for that. And that's exactly what both 1796 Ranches and Skyview is designed for.
Right.
Did you say Amazon delivers?
Yes.
Okay, you're speaking my language.
They do deliver, yes. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, but
don't ask Adam about that.
But you see this enhanced drainage area that we put in just to make sure no water stands, but you can see how the soil goes 3 to 4 foot down. I mean, all we did was cut that out and it's all soil.
Okay.
It's for those folks that have that dream, that want to be able to accomplish what they've been thinking about. They might want guest quarters for friends. They may want a dwelling for their in-laws. They may want a dwelling for their parents. They may want their kids and their grandkids to have a place to come to. In some cases, we're even hearing multiple generations of families may be living there eventually, somehow, some way.
Right. Kind of planning ahead.
Planning
for
ahead.
Later.
There's a lot to be gained from that. The young kids can enjoy so much from their elders.
Right.
Grandparents or friends, and vice versa, right? So I think
wisdom, the family stories,
absolutely,
the recipes, right? And the vice versa, the tech support.
Yeah, every property has very, very unique attributes. Some have larger trees than others. Some have better views than others. Some have just unique attributes. You might find a change in topography that's very unique. It's every property is unique.
So Conrad, so sometimes people want to live out in the country because they don't want an HOA. But you guys have an HOA, so how does that work?
Yeah, there are very mild restrictions, and they're really designed with the best interest of the client and the property owners in mind, really to protect their investment. The Property Owners Association is really designed, the covenants are designed really to make sure that somebody doesn't bring a junkyard in here and dispose and dump of items that are unwanted, or take a nice 20 or 20 acre plus piece of property and subdivide it into quarter acres and put a bunch of tiny little homes that are not to code in place. We realize what folks are coming out here for, and we want to preserve that.
With all the development, how do you guys protect like the wildlife and their habitats?
Yeah, so right now, that's an excellent question. Right now, we have a wildlife management company. You saw that feeder up there where those 2 deer were feeding on?
Yes.
We're feeding and providing supplements to the wildlife. We will do that until we turn over the responsibility to the property owners, okay?
Okay.
And that will be done when 95% or better of all the properties have been sold, okay?
How about the property taxes? How does that work out here?
Yeah, so excellent question, because everybody's concerned about property taxes this day and age.
Costs in general, property taxes being a big part of that.
Skyview Ranch and 1796 Ranches, which we're on right now, afford property owners the ability to participate and take advantage of the ag exemption that's in place. There is an ag exemption in place currently, It's because of the black buck antelope that we as the developer have put into place, and the axis deer, which translates into very, very low property taxes for the property owner annually, as long as they continue to participate and maintain that ag exemption. It's
Okay.
renewable every year, and we've had property owners share their property taxes with us,
What
ranging
does that look
from 10 acres to up to 30 acres,
Okay.
and it's under $100 a year in property taxes.
$100 property tax bill for the year for my property.
That is correct. That is correct.
Okay, I might call the county and check you on that.
I have the name and number, and I encourage you to do so, because there's been other clients
Okay.
that have done that prior to purchasing property, and they were in disbelief at first also. So
And when I hear ag exemption, I've never owned, large property or acreage, but so when I hear ag exemption, I think that I have to stock my property with wildlife. Is that the case here? Is the owner
Yeah.
responsible for bringing in wildlife, and how does that work?
So, to address why and how you are able to recognize an ag exemption, it is because of the wildlife that's in place on the property. Now, interestingly enough, the state of Texas looks at black buck antelope and axis deer, because they're non-native, as wildlife.
Okay.
And that is the reason that we're able to extend and have that agricultural exemption in place, okay? And currently, we have a management company that is feeding and supplementing that wildlife. But in the future, the property owners, when they take possession of the Property Owners Association, they'll have to then determine how they'll continue to move forward.
Okay.
Oh, and that is a red deer. Oh, there's another one right next to it. Yep. I know they're. I just want you to notice something. Everything is brown, obviously. All the vegetation that normally goes dormant is dormant, with the exception of the live oaks. Live oaks continue to produce and drop leaves all year long. They do have periods that they do that in. Right now they're dropping all, and they're starting to reproduce. But last year, with the abundance of moisture that we had, the blue bonnets were all over these fields, just covered. Seatbelt clip on Amazon, and it allows you to drive around without hearing all the dinging.
Without wearing your seatbelt, because
Not
where do you
recommended
need it
for
out in the open ranch?
That's right. Only slow country driving.
Brilliant.